Hi and welcome friends. If this is your first time here, my name is Tiffany and I'm the International Witch. For the past year and a half, this Reverie journal by Mellow Days has been a wonderful, wonderful journal to work through. But after a year and a half, I'm now out of room. So I decided to get another journal. And while the Mellow Days has been absolutely wonderful, and if you're interested in these journals, I would highly recommend them. They are great, especially for watercolors. I came across a YouTube short of a user called Leela Journals. I will leave a link to her below. But I watched her make this beautiful journal. And I love supporting small artists when I can. So instead of getting another Mellow Days, I thought I would give hers a try. It's the same exact weight of paper as the Mellow Days, so I'm very hopeful for this one. So let's open it up. Ugh. Beautiful packaging. Now it is bigger than my previous journal, and that was actually by accident. I did not realize that it was going. Ooh, this is so pretty. Oh, look at that. The gold edges. What do we got here? Oh, we also got like a little bookmark. It's a little bow. That's cute. Yeah, so this one is definitely much bigger than, let me see if I can move this plant out of the way. There we go. Is bigger than my Mellow Days was. So we'll see. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it means I'll have more room to work with, or it could be a bad thing. It means I have to waste more ink. We'll see. But look at this embossing and the gold foil. When she was drawing it on Procreate, I was just slack-jawed with how gorgeous it is. Yep, there's her name. Leela Journals. So let's test it out. Let's do a test sheet and see how it holds ink and such. Hopefully we won't have any bleed through. So far the dots are light, kind of like they are in the Mellow Days journal, which I really like because for me, the dots can be distracting. So let's go to the back. Oh, that's nice. I don't know if you can see that, but they have like pre-perforated areas, so you can pull a page out without having to cut it. That's nice. Okay, let's get a spot here. Okay. Yeah, that was actually really nice. Okay, let's set this to the side. Now I'm gonna check the things that I use most. Ink, markers, watercolors. Let's start with the Micron 05. I use these quite often. Okay. Now there's no bleed through, but there is like a indentation. You can kind of see where I wrote on it, so have to be kind of gentle with this paper maybe. Let's see. Let's get a good dark color marker so we can really put it through our paces here. That wasn't that dark. I thought the pen cap looks a heck of a lot darker than that. Let's see. Is there a black? Let's just get a black. There we go. Okay, everything like shows up really well on it. Oh no. But I am noticing one thing I don't like. I don't know if you'll be able to catch it on camera. Maybe it's not as big of a deal as I think it is. But the dots kind of come through the color, like there's a resist on the dots. Yeah, I don't think you'll be able to see it, but I can see it. So I'm not a fan of that, but hopefully it won't mess up my artwork too much. Let's see on the back. Okay, there's no bleed through. The final one, let's try some watercolors. Let's go with the Payne's Gray. I got Payne's Gray here. Okay. Gotta reach my brushes. Where? Okay. Okay, that's better. Once again, it's not bad, but I do think that there is a coating on this paper that is making it difficult to absorb the watercolor, because you can clearly see as soon as I went back over with the brush, it wiped the color away. So there is a coating to this paper, so I'm going to have to be very conscious of that. That's not to say it's unusable for watercolors. It's just going to take more finesse than I would like. But I've bought it. I'm going to use it. Since this is a new notebook and a new size that I'm working with, I'm going to go ahead and turn this scrap piece of paper into a ruler or guide, just so I know exactly where the center points are and how many spaces I have and the height and the width. I'm using my STA pigment liner in the brush tip to do my name. This specific journal from Leela Journals has an envelope already made in the back of the journal, so I am just going to close this up instead of making it a pocket like I did last year. I just don't need it this time. For all of my lines this time, I'm going to be using the Micron 3 and the Micron 1. I'm specifically using the 3 for most of my outlines, but the Micron 1 is great for smaller details. And because this is a much bigger journal and I don't want to waste really good ink, I'm going to be filling in all of my titles with that STA pigment liner. You'll notice that I'm covering up certain areas with tape, and that's because we're about to get messy today. Today I am going to be doing a really loose sketch form of watercolor, and pretty much you just make everything wet and then you put colors in the general area where you want colors to be, and don't try to make it too perfect. As a matter of fact, on the next page you'll see that I try a little too hard to make it perfect, and the more you do that, the worse it looks. It looks best when you're really, really sloppy, and then you come in at the end with the pen to outline and define your shapes. But right now it's just loose and lots of color. If you want to watch more videos about this specific type of art, I would highly suggest Taria's Sketchy Adventures. I love all of her videos, and it's one of those like soothing nighttime things. I can just sit and watch video after video of hers forever. You'll notice that this is my second water-based theme in a row, and that's actually because I am taking the summer to really try to connect with the element of water. I think it's because I grew up in the country in the South, but I am very much earth-based. But if I like do anything other than like crystals and herbs, then it's always a candle. So I'm very earth with some fire, but I almost always ignore air and water. So I'm actually making an effort this year to take time to try to connect and learn more about those specific elements and how they affect me in my daily life. Being here in Naples in Italy, I live right on the bay. I look out every morning and I see the ocean, and I'm still not quite clicking with it. So that's why you'll see that I'm doing ocean themed water creatures. I came into it kind of wanting to do almost like a sea witch theme, like, you know. Here you'll see me very loosely trying to draw in the suckers on his tentacles. I'm not trying to be perfect. As a matter of fact, I want them to be sloppy. I don't want them uniform, because in this style of art, you're wanting to present the idea of something. Like, I want you to see that he has suckers without drawing every individual one. And I think that actually looks better when it's super messy. And here I'm just going through with a simple white gel pen just to give highlights to certain areas. Here's a close-up of the finished cover page. Okay, now on to my schedule and my habit tracker pages. Because these are mirror images of each other and I'm using the same colors, I'm going to be painting them at the same time. If you're interested in knowing exactly which colors I used, I'm going to pop them up on the screen right here. But I'll also have them listed in the description below if you want to take your time and look there afterwards. I'm going to take a quick moment and let everyone know, if this is your first time here, I offer all of my bullet journal pages and Grimoire sheets for free download over on my blog. The only thing you have to do is navigate to the home page and sign up for my newsletter. You'll receive a code in your email and you put that into the Grimoire section and you have access to all of my printables for free. All I ask is that you please don't pin anything to Pinterest. That is in my password protected site. This month I went back to a basic habit tracker layout. If you're interested in the elemental powers layout, last month's tracker is still available on my website if you want to download and use that one instead. However, for this month's habit tracker, I did stick with 5 habits. So technically you could still do the elemental powers with this month's tracker as well. It just doesn't have the star shape. And here is where I tell everyone to do as I say, not as I do. I made an absolute mess just because I was too lazy to take the time to get a couple of pieces of paper and mark off my area. Like, I got the splatter paint all over my background, all over my tablecloth, everywhere that it should not be. If I could go back, I would definitely put a couple of pieces of paper behind my book to protect my work surface and do a couple of rows of masking tape so that I could splatter where I needed to, but learn from my mistakes. Yeah, I definitely should have been a lot more messier on this page. I was trying to make the seashells look more realistic so you could tell what they were, and I kept working at them and kept working at them, and they just kept looking worse. The colors are kind of faded because I was trying to match some of the actual colors I'd seen. If I could go back, I would be a lot more messy and use much more brighter, bolder, vibrant colors. But ultimately, I had fun with it. I may actually go back into my own book and add some more black splatters. I don't know. We'll see. Here's the close-up look of the finished spread. Okay, and now on to my notes in Spellwork page. I actually was planning on making this little glass vial into siren tears, but I made it a little too big and I don't like the idea of a siren having to cry that much. So I decided instead to call it Siren Songs. And maybe it's more like captured voices in a bottle, a la Ariel and Ursula. Although now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if that's really any better. I made sure to be extra messy with the outlines and little squiggles and stars, and I really, really love the way the bottle turned out. Okay, and now over to the lunar page. On July 10th, we're going to have our first full moon of this July, and it's going to be in Capricorn. Now, Capricorn is a sea goat, which always kind of confused me because Capricorn is an earth sign. But he's very grounded, very stable, also family focused, has a great work ethic. So, going towards the full moon on the 10th, think about what kind of things that you would like to increase in your life. Perhaps putting family as more of a focus in your life, or let that ambition of the Capricorn push you forward in your work and your career. And then after the full moon on the 10th, we're going to be working towards our new moon, which is going to fall on July 24th. It's going to be in the sign of Leo. The last time we had Leo on our astrology page was back in February, and that was the full moon. But now we're going to be seeing the more shadow aspects of Leo. Leo, in its darker form, is more inflexible, very lazy, self-centered. They're not willing to listen to the opinions and thoughts of others. So maybe work that into some of your goals for this month. For the inflexibility, maybe work on your listening skills. Or to combat the laziness, try scheduling more reminders on your phone to get certain tasks complete on time. This page is here for you to take as much time as you need to do a good introspection at your life and see what areas you can improve. Here's a close-up look at both pages of this finished spread. With that final spread done, let's do a final walkthrough together. I had a lot of fun this month just trying new techniques, but anytime you try something new, there's going to be a learning curve, so there are definitely areas where I wish I could have improved, but overall I'm happy with the design. If there was any specific page that you loved the most, if you'll just leave me a comment down below, or if there's any kind of pages that you would like to see me add in my bullet journal. As always, any comments that you leave down below tells YouTube that this is a good video and helps to suggest it to more people who might be looking. So any comments you leave below mean the world to me, as well as those thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing if you'd like to see more videos like this. Love you. Bye.